Hey team, welcome into the Warriorholic. Special edition here with my man Waz Up again, taking a bit of a look at how the boys went over there against the Raiders on Jared Croker's 300 match. So if you don't know Waz Up, definitely check out the links below. He's on, what have we got you on there? YouTube, you're on Twitter these days, you're on Instagram.
Yep.
And like for those who haven't checked it out, mate, probably the best little what I call play analysis videos on the web there for the Warriors. These little snippets of each individual player, insights into what and how they're doing it. I learn something every time I watch them, so check them on out. Here we go, my man. Welcome on.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me on. Looking forward to this one, especially after last night's performance. We're feeling pretty good, I imagine.
Oh, bro, did you sleep well last night?
I went to bed late, man. I couldn't get to sleep, and then I woke up early, and I was just still on 100, you know. So I'm slowly coming down. I'll probably come down by tomorrow. Yeah.
I wouldn't want $1 for every tweet and every comment I sent out on all my different things last night, you know. Because like I ended up watching the game about 2 hours behind everyone else because my VPN shit itself. So like I couldn't look at anything until I got the game up and running at about 10:30. And then by the time I got to the end of it, everyone else had sort of had 2 hours of going nuts, man. So it's kind of like a bit, man. But, so I was like amped, and I didn't get to sleep till maybe 2 o'clock, man. So in today's review, we're going to kind of break it into two halves. The first half, we're going to go through 5 key points that we noticed out of this game that I think sort of represent what the Warriors are able to deliver. Then in the second half, we'll have a bit of a general chat, probably do a couple of player reviews and, you know, sort of get into the how each of the key players went for us. So first up, my man, what was your first key point out of that win for us?
Yeah, well, my first one was kind of defense. I know it felt like at times in the first half we kind of struggling to contain them, and Canberra are a massive team. Massive size, strength. So they threw a big punch in that first half, and we did our best to take it. But I want to give credit to the team for absorbing that pressure. I think what we did was we were able to, in a way, we lost a few moments where they got a roll on, and they didn't capitalize on those tries that they potentially could have had. If they had gotten those tries and the ball had bounced a different way, it might have been 18-0. It definitely felt like that energy-wise, but we were able to survive, which is credit to the whole team. But I think mainly what I felt was that we were getting dominated physically, but even if we lost the tackle, so to say, we had a really quick line speed and recovery, sort of that reloading quickness. If you look at a lot of our guys, if they're going in at 2 in the tackle, even though they may not win that tackle, they get back to marker, and whoever else is coming was peeling away, is getting quickly back in the line. So that was a credit to the team. And then I just thought the checking and sliding, those parts of the game were just all on point. Credit to Leotoa as well. He just held down his centre spot. Nothing leaked down his channel. So that was a big one for me. And then it added up when we absorbed all that pressure. We took that big punch. Then we just unleashed in the second half. So, but it was a credit, I think, to that defensive team effort. Yeah, that was my first key point there.
Yeah, I think I noticed the same. Like, you know, during the week, you heard all of it. Anyone who was interviewed from the Warriors talk about how we knew that passion was going to be a big factor in the first 20 minutes, and knowing about it. And I think, you know, I've never played it obviously anywhere near that level, and it's hard to imagine how the difference between last week and this week, right? You know, just I guess it's want or whatever, but you could see particularly for on attack, Papali'i and Tapane, their running intensity was really hard for us to handle. And then on defense, Whitehead and Young were both killers, that the speed they hit us with. But what I found is that although we weren't quite as fast and aggressive with them, we kind of absorbed it. And then as soon as we got to our try line, we just sat there like a rock. Yep. And Webby always talks about how it can actually be a plus if you can hold out an opposition for 4 or 5 sets and they can't score, because it does them more, gives them more mental fatigue than you've got physical fatigue. And I was listening to, I had the Fox commentary, and you had Blocker Roach, and I can't remember who the main commentator was, and they were talking about how the fatigue factor would get us in the second half. And I was chuckling to myself thinking, just wait, bro. So I think we've found a way to do that in a way that it doesn't burn us out.
Yes.
whether it's a combination of technique and fitness. So I totally agree. Like, I think we struggled to handle the physicality, but we absorbed it and
Yes.
defended it. And that's something we don't normally see from the Warriors. And I think, you mentioned that we didn't let those tries in. That's hunger. I mean, we saw that against us last week, right? Or the last couple of weeks, getting over that line. And that really got frustrating, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was good to see us, Pompey, they're getting that little hand underneath and stuff. So, yep, as far as the first point goes, I don't think we can find a better one than that ability to absorb and defend. So what's your second point there, my man?
Yeah, I think I'll go into a little bit about Canberra. I think we just talked about it, the frustration. All of Canberra's attacks, because we just kept turning them away, that frustration kicked in. We made a few errors too, and I think, but we didn't get frustrated. We still held to our principles that, okay, there was a knock-on, technically a few knock-ons by Dallin. There was a penalty that went against us, and those things don't seem to faze us as much. We're very much more patient in our play. We understand that it's an 80-minute game and that we're going to get to where we need to get to eventually. And you just saw it in the second half. And I can feel that a lot of fans are frustrated with some of the decisions about Dallin's head high by, and that's understandable. But I think from a playing group perspective, that doesn't get to them as much as it may have. They're looking to get into their game plan and continue and be as clinical and precise. And we just saw that onslaught in that first part of the second half, where I think was important getting Papali'i and Tapine off because they were destroying us. And then we got that window there, and we just went into our game plan. So, on the one hand, Canberra, they had all the ball and they got frustrated and they knocking balls on. Whiten lost one. And then even though we, lost a bit of pill, we still held to our principles. And so there's a credit to Webby, credit to the team. I just thought they did a wonderful job of just staying in the game. Yeah.
I don't know, I remember, if this is going back maybe 30 years or so, I was at this party. I was playing with a bunch of Samoan boys. There's only me and one other my mate who weren't Samoan. And they all decided to have arm wrestles, right? And some of them, I'm talking big boys like Adam's sort of size. And there's this old fella there who's about maybe 50. He probably would have been all of about 75 kgs, and they couldn't beat him. No one could beat this guy in an arm wrestle. And at the end of the night, I'm like, man, tell me how you did it. He said, basically, all you do is the energy to hold that arm while the other guy's trying to push it down is way less than you trying to push their arm down. He says, I just wait, and eventually their arm starts to tire, then you get them. And I feel that's part of our game plan. Is, if you look at the Warriors of old, we had these massive ups and downs through a game, right? Now it's just like a tsunami that it sort of starts building slowly, and you just know that it's going to peak at that last 20 minutes, and they're backing our fitness. But again, getting back to the point, have they found a way to absorb without using as much energy as the opposition?
Yeah. I think they're a CrossFit. I was thinking about this, man. The Canberra Raiders are like a bodybuilding team, if you think about it. Massive size, big punch, But we're kind of like a CrossFit team where we can absorb things and then still have the strength to, give it back out again. It just almost like absorb and then they expand again. It's a very fit team. And then you even see that the wrestling elements start to come in. There were some one-on-ones where Sean just did these like judo little, that one that he did on Whiten. He had him. It was a one-on-one. And he just flipped him over. I was like, oh, that's Kai Kata France all day. They're learning pressure points.
Even Metcalf too.
He's
Metcalf one of the smallest guys out there. He had a couple of those. Like he managed to just like one-on-ones just flip the guy. So that's for me is like the ability to handle the pressure and not get frustrated, knowing that they were probably doing what they planned to do, whereas Canberra is hoping that they would convert all of that energy, and it just seemed to sap them. So it's an interesting point, and I'd love to find out from one of the boys how much of it is their game plan that allows them to reserve that energy, and the other part of it is using the backs really effectively for those hit-ups. So that gives those probably a few less hit-ups every quarter for our middles compared to what our opposition are doing. So interesting, and not getting frustrated. You could see they were, because they were wanting to get fisty on it.
Yeah, they were.
So
Horsburgh,
our
like
boys did well to
Horsburgh
stay.
with that swing, man. I was like, come on. You're like,
It was
oh,
like,
yeah.
but that one connected. Who did he connect that one on? Egan, bro. Right, and that was as much as Sifakula put on bloody Nathan
Oh,
Cleary, if not
yeah.
more.
Oh, mate. I didn't get it.
I don't think either of them should have been like should have got
No,
anything.
it was like, hey, let the boys play on
yeah.
then. Oh, no, we've got to give a penalty. You started it. You started the fight.
Yeah, how did we get it, bro? That was crazy. Oh, man.
I just don't get it, man.
I tell you, bro. Alrighty, man. What's number 3 for you?
Precision. Finishing. I talked about finishing as being one of our biggest problems. The last 2 weeks, we couldn't finish anything when we had the ball. It was great to see just some magical finishing by by Dallin there. I don't know how he did that, man, but that kid,
bro.
he has got something about him that, and I was happy for him because he missed a few, against the Broncos, even Dolphins, some opportunities, and this one was just beautiful. Right. So I love that, and then all of our other plays. You think about CNK last week against the Dolphins, he gets caught at the line. This time, he still sticks to his guns and he beats his man. So it was nice to see some of that finishing finally come through, and that being persistent, even though a lot of other teams would try something else. Oh, this isn't working. They'd be like
Yeah.
So, but this team is like, no, we're going to continue to stick to what we're doing and what works, and over time it will. So I got to give it clinical precision. That try to Ale was beautiful. And then the try that Egan put on just for himself, and Sean with that lovely ball across to Metcalf. I just thought, mate, these guys, they nailed every finishing opportunity that came their way. Yeah.
Mate, I put up a little montage of SJ's good plays on TikTok, and I can't stop watching my own edit, bro, because it's just so nice to watch. But it's interesting, Graham Lowe on an interview with Martin Devlin, on his show there on the platform, going back probably around round 5 or 6 when we're starting to get really excited. And he said, look, we're as enthusiastic, we're as fit, and we're as good as anyone in the comp, but we're not as precise as the top teams.
Yep.
This level of precision isn't quite there. And I think you're right. It took a step up there, particularly in attack. I think we've been pretty precise in defence predominantly.
Yep.
But just that Christmas. But I still think we've got a way to go.
Oh, no. I definitely think we've got a long way to go.
What I mean by a long way to go is I think we're in third gear out of a 5-speed gearbox, which is exciting. And you've got to give Canberra their credit as well, because there's a lot of those tries that I think of the Metcalf one. I think of one that Chance took down the short side. They could have easily just held back that fraction and let them through, but they defended really well. But the tries we got, that space just seems so wide, and that's what Webby said the other day, is one of the reasons SJ's doing so well is he's getting these guys in motion around him. Yeah. And he runs well with and delivers well to guys in motion. And just, I can't comprehend the speed that he's seeing the play at.
Yeah.
Because for him to see that one to Metcalf especially, that ball was just such money. And Tohu's one to Ali as well. That was just...
Yeah, that was sweet.
Egan wasn't even looking. It's just like looking over here, boom. But I like the precision, bro. So we've got, the ability to not get frustrated. We've got the resilience and the precision. I think they're 3 key characteristics of teams that go deep. So I like your thinking here, my man.
Yep.
So what do you got for number 4?
I've got professionalism, and it goes in with precision, but it goes into the fact that mentally, Ricky Stewart delayed Croker so that he could come home for this 300th game. That was a mental, disrespectful moment in my eyes. I took that as, if I was Warriors, that's bullet, on the pin board there. Hey, look at what Ricky said about, I would just take it as that, because that tells me he's going to have his one at home. Yeah, it's about the fans, but at the same time, it's being disrespectful, in a way to the Warriors. That's how I assumed it. So we went in there and we spoiled the party. We just said, hey, congratulations, mate, on your 300th, but you're not coming out of here with a win. So we just said to them, no, sorry, this isn't a party. We're going to come in, drink your booze. We're going to steal your women, whatever you want to. Your party's over, mate. We're going to spoil and thrash this place. So, but that's what we did. We're just clinical, and we, it's like someone I was talking to. This guy is like a hitman, He gets a job. Oh, this is your job. Go to this house, hit this guy, and then you walk away and you pack your bags up. Don't leave a trace of evidence, and no one knows you're there. That's what it felt like. It's like we just kicked them in the mouth, and then that crowd was just dead. And they knew, I think, even that, this is just a better team than us. So I just think that was part of the plan, and just good to just keep that crowd and quiet, But congratulations to Croker, but hey, man, you're not going to walk away with a win here.
Well, I look at Webby handled it really well before the game. He congratulated them first. He talked it up, and he said, but we've got milestones too. But did you watch the interview after the game?
No, I haven't called it.
He gave almost no credit to the Raiders. He didn't talk about that pretty much at all.
Yep.
And when they asked him about the whole Croker 300 thing, for the first time I got a little bit of fuck you boys in his voice when he said, we had our own milestone games. We had 250s and we had Ali on debut. We were out there to do it for them, and you could just see, and we did. But he said it in a way that if you really looked, you could read between the lines. It's like, yeah, bro, we spoiled your party. But he stayed really calm. And that's what I agree, bro. It was disrespectful, right? Because, I don't think they would have been stupid enough to think it was an easy game.
Yeah.
But I think they probably thought they'd win based on that because, Ricky is such an emotional guy. He would have thought his guys would have got up emotionally. So, I got no hate for Croker. He's one of those guys I don't even really notice out there. So, well done, and it's awesome that he came back after getting dropped or whatever. But, I've got no sympathy, bro, because all they were trying to do was smash us. Yep. And we just made it about the 2 points and we got it, and with authority. So, yeah, mate. I like that one. Professionalism, yeah. They just went about it in a clinical way. All right, what's number 5?
Mate, I got this one. I've just started to notice about this team. It's like the whole team as a whole. It has a very plug and play element to it. You'll find that this team, you start looking closely and you realize, okay, Egan's out on the edge in this play. Ford's on the right side instead of on the left. Marata's on the left hand side. When they're doing their defensive sets, there's this massive amount of just cohesion, and it's almost like players are just going to spots and they're able to perform. Like there was some plays where Egan was in the halves position because Metcalf was in in the markers, and he did a really good job. It's just like once you look closer, this team has just so much cohesion, versatility. Just something about it. And then that caps inside with development in terms of Leatoa coming in and just looking like nothing. He didn't look out of place. In fact, he looked like he was more than comfortable.
Yeah.
But that's credit to the systems and everything that's been put in place to help these, our development and then our coaching tree and everything is just. I just was blown away by it. Yeah.
I think that goes back again to what Jazz said about the way everything pretty much 90% of their preseason was football related. And they would have just mixed those teams in every different scenario you can imagine. And I think by the way they've changed up the coaching right into these little micro groups, that they've just put every scenario into play. So like you can tell. What did they say? It's we have only let in 2 tries with 12 guys on the field this season, and I think we've scored 4 tries.
Yeah,
there's some kind of random stat like that. Another one that pops into my mind is when Chance made that tackle on their 5th tackle right over on his left hand edge. And Roach or someone said, there's no fullback at home, and that's where Leatoa took that high ball.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
They just, and whereas a little bit earlier on in the season, when Chance got caught out in those positions, we had the ball land in the end goal without someone there to defuse it. So I think you're right, just that non-traditional role and the body types that we've got that are so versatile.
Yeah.
Just it feels like we're just this. Remember those slinkies?
Yes.
You know, that thing is, it's kind of like that. We just, man, and you saw like a guy like Ciro has come in on so many different roles.
Yeah.
Curran as well, like when he went into the centres last week, right? It's just,
Yeah.
no worries, straight in there. I mean, Curran, just a little bit on last week, how much did he surprise you with his ability at centre?
Oh,
And he was
absolutely
there
blown
again in
away.
the second half last night, bro.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice Leotero had gone off
No. Oh, same.
until I
Yeah,
went back
yeah.
and...
That's what I'm saying. You have to look closely, and you think, oh, what? You don't really notice it. No, but current, like I said, these guys, and there's this ability too that everyone has ball playing ability. I noticed that as soon as the West Tigers game, the preseason, Ali was ball playing, and all these guys were ball playing. I was like, mate, there's been a big emphasis on you got to be able to pass and do everything. Like there's these, I feel like Webby's got these minimal skill. Like every player has to have these skills. Doesn't matter if they're a half or a forward.
Yeah.
You got to have basic ball playing skills. And and I think everyone meets those requirements. And then that one where they went the short side and they saw that, Metcalf went away on the wing there. And that was just eyes up footy and just seeing the numbers. And then, but it was a nice touch by Ford and everyone involved in that play. And that's
His
where
effort to chase those plays is good, right?
Yeah,
He's
I'm just blown away.
So, kind of on that, another one that was interesting was to watch the structure when SJ went off. We didn't lose that. Maybe we did. Probably we lost 10, 15% of our cohesion with our attack. But it was still there. And did you notice how Barnett came into that distribution role, like first receiver from him to Metcalf, and then Chef Tohu a little bit wider out? I was kind of wondering, like, did we even actually have a 5'8" at that time?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is everyone fills in these spots, but they can all do it. Like if push comes to shove and you have SJ gone, it's not the end of the world. Like everyone knows, okay, you're going to fill that spot. Like I really believe what you said is that. I think in the preseason they just drilled every possible outcome. Okay, we're down to 9 players. 4 guys got sent off. Okay, this is what we're going to do. They figured out something like that. That's what I really think. They probably went as far as maybe 10 players, or we'll say 11. I think that's 2 guys off at one time.
And it did. I mean, I think they might have got that off the All Blacks, to be honest. I don't know whether we got it directly off them, but the All Blacks are the ones who started doing those little pop plays from prop to prop just before collision.
Yep.
And if you get it right, it puts the opposition in so indecision. Right? Are they going to step? Are they going to pass? I think we've started to get that right a lot more, and that kind of comes back to the type of player we're developing, that they are all ball playing. And I think that may be one thing that lets Bunty down is he doesn't have that. He's a recipient of those passes, but he's not often giving them himself, and he mistimes it a little bit. Whereas I think, if we could get that extra prop in there who's a genuine ball player, like having Jazz back in there, for example, just it gives you so many options. Flexibility, agility, that ability to plug in. There's so many ways you could describe it. But I think all of those things we've talked about there, we've seen that progression in every one of them throughout the season. And I think last night was the closest we've come to getting towards that complete performance where the level of our defense matched the level of our attack and vice versa. Whereas in every other game, one of them's been at 70, 75, 80%. The other one's maybe been around the 60. Whereas I think
get you.
We didn't really try. I don't feel like we were trying to put on too much in the first half. We're just focused on, like, let's just grind this. And then you kind of got I can't remember the comment they said in commentary about what Webby had said. We'd been in there, we'd had 2 sets, I think, in the first half in their red zone, and we scored. Yes. So he said, be excited, boys, because we're going to let loose in the second half, something to that effect. So I think that is definitely part of the game plan, is just grind it and trust that you've got that ability to put feet, hands, and passes on tired guys in the second half. So,
yep.
All right, that's some interesting summaries there.